We have been listening to a lot of stories, and Representative Pryor and Representative Moran and Representative Allen's stories, really touched me, really gave me that chest constriction and makes you almost want to break out and cry, because what this bill reminds us of is what this protest was about. And we talk about how annoying it was to be not able to drive on the highway. We talk about how inconvenienced it is to not be able to get where we're going because the highway is blocked. And it reminds me of a conversation I had shortly after that when I was outdoor knocking, and a woman, I knocked on the door and we talked about a lot of different issues, and she was telling me how her son was so inconvenienced by the protests. He had to go to work and he was late, and the side roads were busy, and this, that, and the other. And I stopped for a minute and I thought, and I looked at her and I said, you know what? Imagine how inconvenient it is when black men are continually pulled over for driving black. Think how annoyed you would be if you were shot while sitting behind the steering wheel of your car. Think how inconvenient it was for that little girl sitting in the back of the seat to witness something like that. Think how inconvenient it was, or it is, for so many of our mothers who are of color who have had to bury their sons. Think about all those family members that were inconvenienced when they lost a beloved brother or uncle or friend. Think about how inconvenient it is to have to tell your children, to teach your sons and your grandsons what to do when you're pulled over because you're a black man. So when we talk about being inconvenienced or how annoying it is, I want everyone to stop for a minute and think what it's like to be a person of color and to be continually, year after year, time after time, inconvenienced because you are not of white privilege. And I want to ask all of you today to vote yes for this amendment because, again, it's the right thing to do.
First, I just want to thank everyone. I think, at least for me, this is the most powerful discussion we've had here, and I think that's really important. And I did want to clarify my background, so you learn a little bit about me and why this is important to me. So I like to tell people that I'm 100% Minnesotan. I've lived here my whole life. I grew up in rural Minnesota, in Cass Lake. At the time, the population was 1,001. I've lived, though, in Minneapolis. I've lived in St. Peter. I've lived in Duluth. I love Minnesota. And Minnesotans didn't ask for this language, and that's why I thought it was important to bring this forward. So, as long as we're talking about what's in the actual bill, I wanted to get to some of the comments about our police officers and violence against the police. Of course, that is wrong. And the funny thing, we keep bringing up the incident with the bridge over 94 and the officer who was injured, and that was by someone on the bridge above the freeway. So the language of this bill wouldn't actually apply to that person. So as long as we're being clear about the language that's in this bill, that incident wouldn't have changed what we would have been able to charge as prosecutors. So don't pretend we somehow wish harm upon our officers. We don't. I'm a prosecutor. I work with Minneapolis police every day in my other job. I have many friends who are police officers. In fact, one of them was called upon to work the streets during some of the more recent protests. And I texted him my prayers and well wishes every day because I respect what he does for all of us. And he cares about our freedom more than anyone. And so it was worth it to him to be part of protecting the people, no matter what side they're on. So don't get it twisted. That's not what this is about. The tone of some of the comments of people who are against this amendment have been of annoyance, being dismissive. You know, we're only doing this. All we're doing is, and clearly by the level of discussion we've had here, this isn't a discussion that should have been dismissed, and I'm glad that we had it. And I'm not sorry that we heard all these powerful stories on both sides of the aisle. To clarify, this bill would apply to all protests for all kinds of injustice. Going forward, we don't even know who or what that will include. Representative Zerwas, I did want to thank you for your comment, kind of diminishing our passion as hyperventilating. You know, I think that really is a great example of privilege, something that we've talked about throughout the last several hours. And to clarify again, you know, for people who are watching, not just the people here in this room, law enforcement didn't ask for this language to be in the bill. Prosecutors didn't ask for this to be in the bill. The people of Minnesota did not ask for this to be in the bill. The justice system did not ask for this language to be in the bill. And if these things that we're talking about are already against the law, and we have no proof that it will deter the protests that, you know, are causing the backups in traffic or, you know, keeping people from getting where they want to go, if we have no proof that will deter protests, then I don't know why we need to have this language in the bill. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to take it out. This provision is about silencing dissent. This provision is about attempting to divide us. I will remind you of the protests mentioned by others here, including Representative Hillstrom. It isn't just Black Lives Matter, it is all Minnesotans. It is miners, it is farmers, it is people who want to make a living wage. And really, it could be anything going forward. And I believe that my amendment, and the reason I brought this forward is the reason that I ran for office. This amendment is about freedom. This amendment is about our Constitution and our rights. And this amendment is about the heart of our democracy, which is direct action for centuries. It is at the heart of what makes us American and not some other country where this type of behavior does get shut down and punished. So this is about justice. And I encourage you to vote green. Miigwech.